Imagine you have €1,000 in your wallet. In Paris, that barely covers a small studio apartment. In New York, maybe it's enough for half the rent of a room in a neighborhood you'd rather not tell your friends about. But there are places in the world where €1,000 a month gives you a life that only millionaires in Western Europe could dream of. An apartment with a pool, daily dinners at restaurants, travel, beaches, and fun, all within reach. Sounds unbelievable? You're about to find out. I'm taking you on a trip to 10 countries where you can truly live like a king, spending less than you think. Thailand is a place where everyone can find something they love. If you like busy cities, Bangkok never sleeps. If you prefer peace and quiet, Chiang Mai, surrounded by mountains and temples, is a perfect choice. And if you dream of paradise, Koh Samui or Koh Phi Phi are islands straight out of a postcard. For €300 to €400 a month, you can rent an apartment with air conditioning and often access to a pool. Imagine, you wake up in the morning, go to the rooftop pool and then head for breakfast. Fresh mango juice for €1 and a bowl of rice with curry for €2. Transportation, a scooter costs about €40 for the whole month. With it, you have complete freedom. You can go to a temple hidden in the jungle or to a night market where you can buy food for pennies and its flavors will stay with you forever. Services that are considered a luxury in Europe are everyday things here. A Thai massage costs the equivalent of €6 to €10. A spa treatment? €12. In Thailand, €1,000 means a carefree life full of colors, flavors, and the smiles of the locals. Imagine waking up in Da Nang in an apartment with an ocean view, and it only costs you about €300 a month. You go for breakfast, a hot bowl of pho full of fresh herbs and flavorful broth, that's €2. And then there's Vietnamese coffee, thick, strong, served with condensed milk, less than €1. Every day you can try something different. Spring rolls, crispy banh mi baguettes, or fresh fruit right from the market. The food is so cheap that cooking at home often just isn't worth it. Transportation? You can rent a scooter for €35 to €40 a month, and gas is so cheap you don't even think about it. With it, you can head to the nearby mountains, to waterfalls, or just ride along the coast. And attractions? A cruise around Ha Long Bay, one of the most beautiful places in the world, costs a few dozen euros. A surfing lesson on the beach? About €10. Here, with €1,000, you live a life that would be considered luxury in Europe. The Philippines has over 7,000 islands and each one looks like a dream from a vacation brochure. Palm trees, white beaches, and crystal clear water. For €400 to €500 a month, you can live in an apartment with an ocean view. Imagine waking up every day and the first thing you see are turquoise waves. The food is a paradise for seafood lovers. At the local market, for just a few euros, you can buy shrimp, squid, or fish, and they're freshly caught. And if you don't want to cook, local eateries offer dishes for €1 to €2. The portions are filling and the flavors are unforgettable. Transportation? Jeepneys, those colorful local buses, cost about 30 cents a ride. A tricycle will take you to the beach for €1. But the real luxury in the Philippines is nature. A full-day boat trip between islands costs about €15. Diving in the coral reef, €20 to €30. For €1,000 a month, you not only live comfortably, but you feel like you're on vacation every single day. Georgia is a country of kindness, wine, and mountain views. For €300 to €400 a month, you can rent an apartment in Tbilisi or Batumi, where you're just a few minutes walk from the Black Sea. Food? That's where the magic begins here. For the equivalent of €1, you can buy a huge khachapuri, a cheese bread that fills you up for half the day. A supra, which is a Georgian feast, costs just a few euros, and you'll get a dozen dishes on the table, plus the essential wine, which flows freely here. Public transport? A metro ride costs 30 cents, and you can take a boat taxi around the city for €2 to €3. And attractions? A visit to the traditional sulfur baths costs €5 to €10. A full-day trip to the Caucasus Mountains? Cheaper than a meal in Western Europe. In Georgia, €1,000 is enough to live comfortably, eat like royalty, and still explore. Albania is a real gem of the Balkans. The beaches of the Adriatic and Ionian Seas look like they're from Croatia or Greece, but the prices are many times lower. For €250 to €350, you can rent an apartment in Saranda with a sea view. Imagine eating breakfast on your balcony every day, looking at the blue water. Coffee in a cafe costs less than €1. Dinner in a restaurant, €3 to €5. Fresh fish, seafood, and local wines are all within reach. Traveling around the country is super cheap. A bus between cities costs a few euros, and a short taxi ride is €2 to €3. For €1,000 a month, you not only live comfortably, but you can explore mountains, lakes, and beaches that look like they're straight out of a travel brochure. Mexico is a country where everyday life feels like a party. From the old colonial streets of Guanajuato to the Caribbean beaches in Cancun, all the way to the mysterious Mayan ruins, this is a place where €1,000 a month truly changes your life. For 400 to 500 euros, you can rent a spacious house with a patio and a garden. Often, you'll have a pool in the building and palm trees all around. Imagine this. In the morning, you go out for coffee, you buy it for €1 at the corner, and then you have breakfast, which is 3 tacos for less than €2. Food in Mexico is magical. Tacos al pastor, burritos, enchiladas. On the street, they cost next to nothing, and they taste better than in the best restaurant in Europe. For €5, you can have a big dinner with a drink and dessert. Transportation is another great thing. An Uber ride in the city costs €2 to €3, and for about €15, you can travel hundreds of kilometers by bus, for example, from Mexico City to Acapulco. On the weekend, the ruins at Chichen Itza, swimming in the turquoise cenotes, or a boat trip in the Caribbean waters. In Mexico, €1,000 a month lets you live very comfortably and enjoy everything the country has to offer. Colombia is a country that has changed a lot. Just 20 years ago, many people were scared to come here, but today, Medellin is called the City of Eternal Spring and is seen as one of the best places to live in South America. For 300 to 400 euros a month, you can rent an apartment in a new high-rise building with security, a swimming pool, and a view of the green hills. That's a comfort you'd pay much more for in Europe. A daily meal called almuerzo, that's soup, a main dish, salad, and fresh juice, costs €3. Coffee, which Colombia is famous for all over the world, is less than €1 a cup. Getting around? The Medellin Metro is one of the best organized systems in Latin America. A ride costs 70 cents. Taxis and Ubers are just as cheap, €2 to €3 for a ride. For €1,000 a month, you not only live comfortably, but you also have enough money to explore a different part of the country every weekend. The colorful town of Guatapé, the Caribbean coast in Cartagena, or the Amazon jungle. It's a life full of adventures, culture, and joy. Indonesia has thousands of islands, but everyone knows one Bali. And for good reason. It's a paradise where €1,000 a month gives you a life straight out of Instagram. For 400 to 600 euros, you can rent a private villa with a pool, surrounded by palm trees and tropical flowers. Often, the price includes daily cleaning and a gardener, something that in Europe would be a luxury for millionaires. Food? Local warongs, which are small family-run eateries, serve rice with vegetables, meat, and spicy sambal for €2. For €5, you can have dinner at a trendy restaurant in Canggu, and a fresh coconut to drink costs €1. Transportation is mainly by scooter. A monthly rental is about €40. With it, you can discover black sand beaches, rice terraces, or waterfalls hidden in the jungle. Attractions? A surfing lesson for €10, yoga in Ubud for €5, trekking to Batur volcano for €20. In Bali, every day feels like a vacation. For €1,000 a month, you live here like a celebrity, just without the paparazzi. Egypt is a country where history meets amazing hospitality and low prices. In Cairo or Hurghada, you can rent a spacious apartment for 250 to 300 euros a month, a balcony with a Nile view. At that price, it's totally possible. Food is ridiculously cheap. Shawarma for €1, a meal with grilled meat, rice and salad for €3, mint tea or Arabic coffee for a few cents. Transportation also costs next to nothing. Uber in Cairo, €1 to €2. A ride on a local bus, less than €1. But what makes Egypt special are the attractions. Entrance to the pyramids of Giza costs €10. A full day of diving in the Red Sea, €30. A trip to the Valley of the Kings in Luxor, a dozen euros. For €1,000 a month, you can not only live and eat in luxury, but also explore one of the oldest civilizations in the world. It's a life fit for a pharaoh, but for a fraction of the price. Cambodia is a country often missed by tourists, and that's a shame, because here €1,000 a month gives you a life above average. For 200 to 300 euros, you can rent an apartment in Phnom Penh, the capital city. If you prefer something quieter, in Siem Reap, you can find a house with a garden for a similar price. Street food costs 1 to 2 euros. Rice with meat, fried noodles, or fresh fruits, cheap and delicious. Beer, 50 cents a mug. Transportation is mainly tuk-tuks. A ride around the city costs 1 to 2 euros. You can also buy a bike for a few dozen euros and travel everywhere with it. Attractions? The biggest one is, of course, Angkor Wat, a huge temple complex. Entry costs 37 euros, but the view of the sunrise over the temples is worth every penny. To the south, there are also the paradise islands of Korong, where a night in a beach bungalow costs less than 20 euros. For 1,000 euros a month, you really live like someone from a higher class here. You have comfort, you have exoticism, and you have an adventure you won't find anywhere else. As you can see, 1,000 euros doesn't have to mean living frugally. In Thailand, Vietnam, Georgia, or Albania, you can live in a beautiful place, eat delicious food, and feel like you're on vacation every day. These countries show that luxury is relative. In some places it costs a fortune, and in others, Just €1,000. Which country tempts you the most? Thailand, Colombia, or maybe Albania, closer to Europe? Let me know in the comments. And if you dream of living like a king on a small budget, hit subscribe and give a thumbs up. There will be more travel inspirations like this. Thanks for watching. Until the next video, take care. Bye for now.